I found out that my ex-husband Jerome was killed in 1981. I think his lifestyle got him killed. It didn't surprise me. I don't remember if I was questioned at the time of his death, but I was arrested 16 years later for his murder. I was completely blindsided. My brother Ishmael testified against me at my trial, and I was charged and convicted for a conspiracy to murder and sentenced to life without the possibility of parole. Ishmael destroyed my life. His testimony was a smoking gun that put me away. I am completely innocent. I was taken away from my children and my entire life. Being behind bars, I was suffering from broken heart syndrome and loneliness. I didn't give up hope because of my 5 children. I had several cancer scares while I was in prison. Chemotherapy in prison is hard because going into the hospital, you have to be shackled up. Being released is like a dream come true. It's just overwhelming. I've been away so long. I only remember the time when my children were little. I've missed out on so much of their life that I can't get it back. I haven't spoken to Ishmael in 20-some years. I was shocked that he betrayed me and lied.
Well, Patricia, I am very, very glad to meet you. And I'm very glad to do it not behind bars, but here at Dr. Phil's. So tell me how you're doing.
All is well, Dr. Phil. So glad to finally see you.
Well, you've been out for how long now?
I was released July 21st of this
Okay.
year.
All right. So you say that you really want to know why your brother ruined your life, taking you away from Quincey and your 4 other children, your grandson, Suge, which is Suge Knight's son, for 24 years. This just came out of the blue, right?
Yes, Suge was my firstborn grandchild. He was only 1 year old when I was arrested.
Right. So everybody understands this was your ex-husband. He was stabbed and killed, and you're not even sure that you were questioned at the time. But 5 years go by, 10 years go by, 15 years go by, then 16 years afterwards,
Yes,
you're arrested.
yes.
What did you think when they came and knocked on your door and
I had no idea what they were talking about.
you had no idea that your brother was involved?
Not at all. Not my baby brother. Not my baby brother who I raised after my parents had passed on.
And you had no problems with him, right?
Not ever.
Obviously, you want answers. Why in the hell would he say these things?
Everything he said in that courtroom was a lie. Everything he said about me was a lie.
Now, let me just ask you straight up for the record so you can get it on the record for here. Did you hire someone to kill your ex-husband?
Absolutely not.
Were you still in contact with him? Were you talking to him?
Yes, I was.
Were you?
Yes.
Did you guys have tension at that time? Were you
No.
angry with him?
No.
And
No,
so
I did
Ishmael
not.
saying that you were at the scene of the crime
Ishmael said that I even drove the mobile home that he owned. I could never drive any kind of vehicle. I've been legally blind since the age of 17.
you couldn't get a driver's license and you couldn't drive if you had one.
No, I could not.
We had to help you out here. We come down a runway. I had someone on each side of you, so you had the confidence that you weren't going to fall off.
I can't right now, I can't even see your face.
Well, that's a blessing. you, trust me, you're not missing anything on that front. But you couldn't have driven a mobile home somewhere that he says you drove.
No, I could
But now
not.
he knew that you were legally blind,
Yes,
correct?
he did. It's sad that the justice system would convict someone with just hearsay, no DNA, no eyewitness, was just,
There's no forensic evidence.
and I was sentenced to a life without the possibility of parole. After being in prison, I was told that he was the smoking gun witness.
You say that you've just been stuck with hatred and resentment because you just, I can imagine what you've been saying to yourself about this young man that you raised, that you loved, that you nurtured, and then to have him turn on you. What would be his possible motive?
Dr. Field, I pondered this in my heart. Why would he say these things about me in the courtroom? I sat there and listened to him. He told this as if he was a director, a producer. He made these things up. He told the court, the judge, the district attorney, that he watched me. I can't imagine why he would do this. I just want answers. I have so much dislike, hatred for him. I can't imagine why he would say these things. He tore my family. He pulled my heart out of my body.
And now you don't have, because of your health, you fear that you don't have much longer in this life.
I don't. That's the reason why I've been released from prison.
Right. And that's because you have cancer.
Yes.
And tell me about the cancer. You have liver cancer?
Yes, I've battled and breast cancer
and
ovarian cancer.
Okay, breast cancer, ovarian cancer, and liver cancer.
Yes, the liver cancer metastasized from ovarian cancer.
So it's begun to spread in your body.
Yes.
And so they say at this point they can't fix that.
No, they can't.
I formed a few relationships in prison. My two good friends are Leslie Van Houten and Betty Broderick. Leslie is my BFF, and she's one of the Manson girls. Betty's in for the murder of her ex-husband and his wife. Prison life was so hard on me. I got beat up a lot. The younger inmates have no respect for the elderly. I wrote so many different advocates to listen to my story. I said that I want to fight for my freedom or die trying.
I was murdered when I was 3 years old. My mother went to prison for his death when I was 19. I always had a good relationship with my mom and loved her very much. It was very hard watching my mom serve this life sentence. When I was 17, I enlisted into the United States Navy. One of my last memories of actually spending time with my mom before she was sentenced to prison was her coming to my graduation. Her going to prison was devastating to me. It started me on a downward spiral in the military of drinking. I still finished my service honorably. So I only went to visit my mom 3 or 4 times while she was incarcerated. Over the years, my mom wrote to me regularly, and I found it just emotionally draining and impossible to even read. The letters, meeting a girlfriend or friends, it's hard to explain that your mother's doing life in prison for your father's murder. My mom being convicted for my father's murder, considering I was his only child, made me feel more distant from my siblings. I believe that if I wasn't born and my mom had never met my father, that my sisters and brothers would have had a normal life. I'm trying to change that, trying to reconnect. Now that my mom's out of prison, I'm committed to making sure that I get to know her now in my older years. For the rest of her life, I'll be by her side.
Well, Quincey, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate you being here and being here for your mother.
Yes.
Now, this had to be, as you were saying in your tape piece, this had to be so difficult for you, as you say, growing up and your mother being in prison and people saying, you know, where's your mother and all that, that had to be difficult. What was your relationship like with her while she was there in your heart? What did you feel towards her? Did you believe that she was guilty? Did you believe she was innocent? What did you believe?
No, I've always believed in my mother's innocence. I never, my heart felt that she ever had anything to do with my father's death at all. Because, my mom was growing up, I know my mom was always scary. She's scared of ghosts. She was scared of we went to cemeteries or anything to go visit her mom's grave or anything. So I just couldn't imagine someone who's afraid of that
Yeah.
killing someone.
Yeah. So it just didn't make sense to you.
No, it never made sense to me. And she never had problems with any of because I have my father's side of the family. I have, then my mom, and then there was never any problems about, me growing up with my grandmother. She always had a good relationship with, that's my dad's mom.
Right.
She always took me over there for Thanksgiving, and there was never any issues about her son and being killed by her or anything like that. It was no problem.
Yeah. But what do you know about your uncle's testimony? He signed a statement, and then he actually testified live in trial. And what do you know about all of that, and what's your belief about his motives and why he would do something like that?
From what I've learned and read, and I had to do a lot of research myself on the internet, and then things I just found out when I was in the trial myself. He had got convicted of a domestic violence with his. I don't know if they were married or not, but his ex wife, the one he has all of his kids by, and he was facing a 12-year sentence, for a domestic violence. And I remember him calling, and he was saying how he was having a real hard time in jail, and the guards were really racist and stuff to him, and he had to get out of there. And I learned that in exchange for a lighter sentence, he said that he had information on a murder. And as soon as my mom was convicted, he was released.
Really?
Yes.
So you believe he sold her down the river to get himself out of prison?
I do.
During my trial, my public defender told me there was a smoking gun witness. I didn't know that my brother Ishmael was the smoking gun witness they were referring to until he got on the stand. I was shocked.
Ishmael lied to say my mom had something to do with my father's death in exchange for a lighter sentence on a case that he was facing.
I think I'm a shake if I see him or even hear his voice. I don't want to leave this world without knowing why he did what he did to me.
I would like to mend my relationship with my sister Patricia. She blames me for her going to prison. I moved in with my sister at a very young age. I don't remember how I found out that Jerome was killed. I didn't know the details of his murder. The murder happened in 1981, but there was no trial till 1997. That's when the police questioned me. At the time, my spelling and my reading wasn't that great. I didn't write a statement, it was recorded. The impression that I got from the detective was it wasn't implicating my sister because I felt she did nothing wrong. I had no choice but to go to trial because I was subpoenaed. The statement they wrote on me was a lie. I didn't say those things. The police said I contacted them about a murder, but I never did that. At that time, I believed her trial wasn't going to turn out well. If I had to do everything all over again, I wouldn't have said anything. I was happy when she got released. I want her to know the truth. I want her to know the things that was said was fabricated by the detectives. I love her and I had no choice. I'm her brother and I wouldn't have done anything to hurt her.
Well, now joining us virtually from his home is Patricia's brother Ishmael. Patricia, what do you want to say to him?
Why did you lie on me? Why did you put me in prison? Why did you do this to me?
I didn't lie. I didn't put you in prison. The statement that was written that by the police department wasn't my statement. They lied in the statement. This is what I've been trying to tell you, and this is what I wanted to tell you the whole time.
You lied on me. You lied on me. I heard you in the courtroom. You lied on me.
I denied everything. What you heard in the courtroom was me denying everything.
No, you lied on me.
They said.
You lied on me. You said you was on the second story of my house in Encino. You lied on me.
There's no second story in anything.
I know it's not a second story. You said that you lied on me. You said I came out the mobile home and told you to be quiet. You lied on me.
That's not what I said. I did not say that.
You lied on me. You lied on me. You took me away from my children.
I know. Listen,
I
Pat.
spent 24 years in prison for nothing. Ishmael,
I did not lie on you on the
me.
witness stand.
Let me stop you. When you yell, it distorts so bad that we have a hard time understanding
I'm
you.
sorry. When the police changed my statement and implicated you in my statement that I didn't write, I thought this would be an opportunity to expose them lying. That's why, if you remember, when I went to court on the witness stand, I distinctly pointed out to the detective in front of the judge and said he lied. I did not say that in that statement, Your Honor.
You lied on me. They said they brought you McDonald's and fed you McDonald's. You lied on me.
Are you serious? You think McDonald's would make me turn against you? You were my sister. You're my sister. I love you. I have never said any of those things. I didn't write a statement. I signed a statement that was read to me, but I didn't write it. The statement that was read in court, I did not write that.
You said it on cassette tape. I got your video. I got your cassette tape to Attorney Ellison. You even said it in your own voice.
She heard.
I heard
she
your
heard
voice.
What she's saying is she heard your words, and I'm real interested in what you have to say about this, because you had a conversation with Ishmael about this, and what did he say to you?
Told me that he was sorry that he for the statements that he said that he wished that he could take it back. That it was his testimony that caused my mom to go to prison.
Did he tell you that he lied?
Yes, sir.
He told you that he lied?
Told me that he lied.
And did he tell you that he cut a deal?
Yes.
You lied. You lied. You lied in the courtroom. I listened to you. I was sitting there.
I denied everything.
No, you lied. After you slipped and lied the first time.
Did you tell Quincey that you lied?
And you got a lesser sentence for the crime you committed.
That is not true.
Just fess up.
Listen.
Just apologize. Why don't you be a man and do that?
I have nothing to apologize for.
I did 24 years.
I have always explained to you that the statement that went to trial was not my statement.
You were brought here as a prosecution witness, and when you came here, you say, I have nothing to apologize for, but you admit that you signed a statement that was used against your sister to convict her, and you say they used you as a pawn, they twisted your words, that isn't what you said, but do you not even apologize for the fact that you were used and allowed yourself 100%. To be manipulated?
This is my family. Yes, absolutely. And I have always done that.
Did you get a lesser sentence in exchange for your testimony?
No, none of that, no.
You were not facing 12 years and you got a lesser sentence?
No, not at all. Nope.
So that just didn't happen?
They didn't make
Never
a deal.
happened.
They didn't make a deal with you, the DA?
Nope, not at all.
So why did the detectives come for you?
To subpoena me to your trial.
But why? How did they know to come talk to you?
I don't know. They contacted me, so I don't know.
It was 16 years after the crime. Why would they come talk to you out of the blue? Why you? Why
they didn't come out of the blue. I believe I'm guessing one of my family members, they talked to somebody else, and it led to me.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And did you say that she drove the mobile home?
Absolutely not.
Did you say that in court?
No.
You didn't say that you witnessed a murder?
Nope, because I didn't witness a murder. I never said that. And you don't have any records of me saying that, because I never said it.
So what did they lie on you and say that you recanted at my trial then, that I didn't hear?
One of the things I distinctly remember in the statement was they said something like, I heard a mobile home, you walking out to a mobile home and it was rocking back and forth.
Yeah.
I never said that. And I said it right on trial. If you remember, in trial, I pointed right at the detective and I looked at the judge and I said, he's lying. I said, I never said that. And then they referred back to the statement and said, did you sign this statement? Yes, I did sign that statement, but that is not what I said. They wrote the statement and I signed it. They read it back to me and it didn't implicate you in anything. But when we got to trial and they blew the statement up, which means that it was in large size, what was in that statement is not what they read back to me. And I never said any of those things. I had no reason to lie on you. You're my sister. I have 6 sisters, 2 brothers. I'm the youngest. I love my family. I love you. I love my children, your kids, my nieces and nephew. You have never done anything wrong to me. So why would I just out the blue with a person I don't even know to lie on my sister and get her convicted? This is why I came on the Dr. Phil show today. I'll take the hits because I've been taking them for 25 years. Now's the time for my story to be heard. I have never lied. I have never said those things. Yes, that's a statement that I signed saying I said it because it was read to me. But I didn't say that.
Why'd you make any statement? Why'd you make a statement?
Because I wanted them to let you go. She's not, she loved her husband. Do I think she's a murderer? No. This is my sister. She cared. No, I was trying to help.
You say you didn't know what the statement said that you signed because you didn't have good reading skills at the time, and what they read back to you was not what you signed, that they wrote down one thing and read to you another, correct?
Right. I wasn't incriminating my sister in anything. And then I said, read the statement back to me, and they read it back, and it was nothing incriminating my sister. But then when I got to trial, what I signed, and then when the prosecutor, in trial, the trial went like this. Did you say this? No, I didn't. He's a liar. Judge, he's lying on me. Well, is that your signature? Yes, that's my signature. Did you sign saying you said it? Yes, I did. But I didn't say that because that's not what he told me. He read back to me. What I told him to write down, he didn't. He wrote down something else. And that's what all day in the trial was about with me. It wasn't me. I gave no statement in trial. I was denying stuff left and right. And I figured this will be great helpful to her because it proves that the police are lying, trying to incriminate her into this murder that I know my sister didn't do.
So if you didn't sign something incriminating, what was it you intended to straighten out when you got to the courtroom?
Well, the police were, I saw the police aim. I saw what they were doing. They wanted to incriminate my sister. And they wanted me to lie to incriminate my sister. And that's what I wanted to bring forth in trial. But when I got to trial, it was much bigger.
If you knew that you did not sign something incriminating, then what did you feel like you had to straighten out at trial?
What I wanted the judge to know that the police were, by any means possible, trying to trap up my sister.
But if you didn't sign an incriminating statement, then what did you need to straighten out at trial?
The fact that the police wanted me to lie.
But that you had a signed statement that in your mind was not hurting your sister.
No, right, at the time, before trial, at the time of that statement, when the statement was read back to me, it was read back the words that I said. What was non-incrimination to my sister.
So what was the need to, so what did you have to straighten out at trial? Because you already had gone on record not incriminating your sister.
The fact that they wanted me to lie. or off tape. They told me that. In fact, that they wanted me to lie. So I was going to expose them in trial. That's what I wanted to do.
Okay, are you saying that Quincy is lying? Patricia and all of us still feel a lot of questions have remained unanswered. But unfortunately, we're out of time for today. But tomorrow, we're going to continue to unravel this puzzle and get to the bottom of exactly what happened years ago to cause Patricia to land in prison for nearly a quarter of a century for a crime she claims she never committed. Believe me, you're not going to want to miss this. Patricia, who is trying her best to get answers from her estranged brother Ishmael, has another supporter who undoubtedly has her back. Her oldest grandson, who just so happens to be the son of co-founder of Death Row Records, Suge Knight. What happens when her grandson joins the conversation and comes face to face with his grand uncle? Well, it's safe to say that emotions are at an all-time high.
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil, sentenced to life for murder.
You were an instrumental player in her going to prison.
Is her brother to blame?
You were the smoking gun witness.
I did not lie on you on the witness stand.
You are pathetic. 25 years later, you still the same pathetic liar.
Can I say one thing?
I've been listening to you yell for 20 minutes, so you listen to me now.
That's tomorrow.
My brother Ishmael testified against me at my trial, and I was charged and convicted for a conspiracy to murder. Ishmael destroyed my life. I was taken away from my children and my entire life.
So everybody understands this was your ex-husband, and he was stabbed and killed, and you're not even sure that you were questioned at the time. Then 16 years afterwards,
Yes.
you're arrested.
I had no idea what they were talking about.
You had no idea that your brother was involved.
Not at all. Not my baby brother.
Ishmael saying that you were at the scene of the crime.
Ishmael said that I even drove the mobile home that he owned. I could never drive any kind of vehicle. I've been legally blind since the age of 17. Right now, I can't even see your face.
Trust me, you're not missing anything. What would be his possible motive?
I pondered this in my heart. Why would he? I've never done anything wrong to him.
Here's what one of her sons, Quincey, has to say.
My father was murdered when I was 3 years old, and my mother went to prison for his death when I was 19. So I only went to visit my mom 3 or 4 times while she was incarcerated. Over the years, my mom wrote to me regularly, and I found it just emotionally draining and impossible to even read.
What do you know about your uncle's testimony?
He was facing a 12-year sentence, for domestic violence. I learned that in exchange for a lighter sentence, he said that he had information on a murder.
So you believe he sold her down the river to get himself out of prison?
I do. He's admitted to me that he has lied about it.
I would like to mend my relationship with my sister Patricia. She blames me for her going to prison. At the time, my spelling and my reading wasn't that great. I didn't write a statement. It was recorded. The impression that I got from the detective was it wasn't implicating my sister. The statement they wrote on me was a lie.
Patricia, what do you want to say to him?
Why did you lie on me? Why did you put me in prison? Why did you do this to me?
I didn't lie. I didn't put you in prison.
I heard you in the courtroom. You lied
I denied
on
everything.
me. Just apologize. Why don't you be a man and do that?
I have nothing to apologize for.
Did you get a lesser sentence in exchange for your testimony?
No, none of that, no.
So that just didn't happen?
They didn't make a
Never
deal?
happened.
They didn't make a deal with you, the DA?
I had no reason to lie on you. You're my sister. This is why I came on the Dr. Phil show today. I'll take the hits because I've been taking them for 25 years.
Are you saying that Quincy is lying?
I don't remember that conversation with Quincy.
Well, Quincy says you apologized to him and felt terrible.
I don't remember ever doing that. I don't remember ever saying I apologize for that. I don't remember saying
You don't remember saying to him that this is terrible, that you can't do 12 years, and...
No. Quincy was a kid when this trial was going on. What was he? How old was Quincy when this trial
I'm
was going on?
talking about after the fact.
He was a kid.
When was the conversation, Quincy?
When the trial went on, I was 17, 18 years old, so I wasn't too much of a kid. I had to get, the military had to send me TAD to the courtroom, so I knew definitely what was going on. And we had these conversations, I think, might have been about 21 or 22 years old.
Yeah.
It was, my mom had been in prison for a couple of years.
Right. And you were clear with me that he said to you, I told them this because I couldn't put up with this. I couldn't take 12 years.
Yes.
I don't remember ever talking to Quincy about
And that he told you straight up, I lied about your mother and I'm sorry for that.
Yes, we've had that conversation because I asked him, why, this happened. I asked him questions, because I wanted to know from him, because I kept hearing, because I,
when was this conversation?
I
Where
love
was I? Because I don't remember you ever asking me.
No, I just wanted to know from myself, what happened, because I kept getting conflicting stories from different family members.
Where did this conversation take place?
I was at my home, and I call him on the phone. I used to call him periodically.
Yeah, but when did it take place?
About his life.
I never said that, and I don't ever remember sitting down talking to you about this because I wouldn't.
Seems like you don't remember a lot of things you've said, but
when did this? Explain to me when did this take place, Quincy?
This has been years, but we've had these conversations a lot.
It never happened.
We've had these conversations every time that we sit there and talk. We sit there.
That is not true. I got your text messages.
How you're going to try to do things to try to help
about this trial.
Pat out? That you're going to try to do things to try to fix, the situation. That you're going to help get I'm going to help get your mom out of jail. That I'm going to recant my statements. We've had numerous conversations.
I have never had that conversation with you, Quincy.
Okay.
I have never had. When, Quincy? If someone had a conversation like that, I would know when. You can't tell me when.
So we've never.
Because it never happened.
So we never talked.
I don't know what you're doing.
We've never talked on the phone at all.
We never had that conversation.
So we've never talked at all.
We talked on the phone briefly about you traveling the world. You've been in the service. I encourage you. I try to be a big uncle to you.
You do.
Mostly, we just text on the phone. We have never had a conversation about the trial. I would distinctly remember not talking to you about the trial. The first person and the only person I need to talk to about the trial is the person I haven't talked to in 25 years. And that's the person sitting next to you. So stop it.
I was 12 years old when I found out that my grandmother was doing life in prison. And I was only 1 year old when she was incarcerated. Growing up, we were very close. I wrote a lot of letters. She probably still has letters from when I was 5 years old. Every year I'll visit my grandmother. It was really difficult to leave and say goodbye to her. I didn't expect my grandmother to come home. It's really a miracle that she's out. We drove to the prison to pick her up. When I saw her walk out, I saw that dark cloud leave over my family. I have way too much experience going to see family members in jail. My father is currently serving time in prison. And my father is Suge Knight, founder of Death Row Records. He's one of the greatest music executives in hip hop history. My dad being in prison motivated me to stay out of jail. You may see me on a show called Love and Listings on VH1.
You look just like your pops. I see and hear that a lot, right?
Yeah, man, but your song was hard, bro. You wrote that too?
I'm the star of the show, and they follow my real estate career. I think my dad got a bad deal being sent to prison. I feel like his sentencing was way too harsh. There needs to be a different way of disciplining people without taking years of their life away. Now that my grandmother has a second chance at life, I want to support her fully. Her story can and should inspire others.
Ishmael, are you familiar with Patricia's first grandson, your nephew, Suge Knight Jr.?
I have never met him.
Well, he's here.
I don't think I ever saw him.
Well,
outside of a baby.
Yeah, he's here joining us today. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Dr. Phil, for having us. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate it.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
The first time I met you.
I know, man. You seem a bit upset. The only thing I'm confused about.
Upset. It's just that I'm not upset. It's just that my understanding about this show is me trying to start a relationship back with your mom. I mean, your grandmother.
You're lying. You're trying to make yourself look good. Just own up to it, bro.
I'm not trying to make myself look good at all.
Why you keep explaining?
I don't even think you were born. Were you born during this time?
Nah, bro, I'm 1 year old, but I know as a man, I admit to when I'm wrong. My grandmother did 24 whole years. You didn't serve no time. What'd you do? You can't even give Quincy the benefit of the doubt. I'm blessed to have my Uncle Quincy, because he's a great uncle. I never met you, but man, I'm glad I haven't, and I wish you the best. But for right now, what's important is my grandmother. All she wants is peace. Just give her that. It ain't too hard. I don't know you, you don't know me, but I know the truth. And I know what's right.
Okay.
I know. You know what I'm saying? We your family too. I don't have no ill feelings towards you. But to find peace and a solution.
Well, I don't know you, okay? I've never met you, probably because of all this. But my thing is this: your grandmother needs to know the truth.
My grandmother knows the truth that she's an unbreakable ass woman. Excuse my language, Dr. Phil. She's very strong.
I understand that, but
she's very strong.
This has been
you know
going
what I'm saying?
Since long before you were 1 year old.
Yeah, I know, man.
So
all we want really is just all she wants is just to know just some peace. That's it. Everybody so they can move on. You can't keep jumping over it and keep this. No, bro. You were the type of guy that would snitch on everybody if there was a crime, and you obviously did. You recorded a statement. Just own up to it. Just own up to it.
Tell a lie just to save your soul.
Just save yourself, bro.
Yeah, just all you want.
Look, here's my question, Ishmael. My hope is the feelings that I'm concerned about here are Patricia's feelings. She may have 3 months left in this life. She may have 4 months. She may have 6. We don't know, but we do know that she's been diagnosed as terminal. And she's quite ill. It's a real steep hill to climb for her to be here today. She can't see. She knows that her days are numbered, and she just doesn't want to leave this world without some clarity as to why she was ripped away from her family, her children, her grandchildren for a quarter of a century. And what we know, what can't be controverted, what can't be spun. No, you cannot. You cannot. You can listen to me right now. What you cannot controvert is the fact that you were an instrumental player in her going to prison, whether it was your intention or whether it was by accident, whether you were manipulated, whether it was on purpose. You were an instrumental player in her going to prison. And I am shocked that you come on here yelling at her, demeaning her, talking down to her, instead of saying, look, in retrospect, I made bad choices. I let myself be used. I let myself be manipulated. Maybe you did it on purpose, and that's what you should admit. Maybe you should say, I cut a deal to save my own ass, and it was selfish, and I'm sorry. And instead of owning that, you come on here yelling and raising hell about the fact that you never did this, you never did that, you never did the other. But the result is clear. You were an instrument in putting her behind bars for a quarter of a century and stealing her life and ripping apart her family. And to come on here yelling instead of apologizing, to me, is offensive to my sensibilities. Now you can say whatever you want.
That's the whole purpose of me coming onto the show, is for the reasons you just said.
Then do it.
Well, Patricia, I'll apologize for being an instrument and the police used me. But the things that they said that I said in the statement, I never said that. And that's what I have always said. I love you. I'm your brother. I would never do those things.
That's a terrible apology. You gotta be more sincere, man.
Oh, I'm sorry I didn't satisfy you.
There's nothing that can really make up the time. I mean, 24 years out of her life.
Exactly,
I mean,
nothing. Yeah.
Nothing's going to make up that time. That's the one thing you
Patricia,
can't give
what
anybody
did you
back
want?
is time.
Patricia, what did you want to say?
It was hard. Ishmael, it was hard in prison, you know. It was really hard in prison. I got beat up in prison. You know, even the morning that I left, I got my shoes taken away from me. They stole my shoes from me. It was hard, 24 years in there. You know, good people that's trying to get out. There's more innocent people that are convicted with no evidence, just hearsay. People that's in prison that's convicted for things like you did to me.
I'm not the only one you blame. You blame me. You blame my sister. You blame Junior.
You were in the courtroom. You testified against me.
What did you hear him say?
I heard him. He testified and he told the judge that he saw the mobile home going back and forth. And when I walked out there with the pail after I cleaned the mobile home up, I told him that he didn't see me that day before I drove away.
That is not true. I never said that.
Yeah, you told that. You said that in the courtroom,
Isn't
Larry.
there a way you can get
You
the
said that,
transcripts?
Ishmael. You
I
said
never
that.
said that.
You said that. You
I'm
told.
telling you I didn't. And not even in court.
I
What you're
listened
saying
to
that
it. I got the
said in
tape.
court, okay, well,
Attorney
I never
Ellison
said that in trial.
send me the tape.
That is not true, Pat. That is not true. That never happened.
Oh.
You
It never
reported
happened,
it.
Dr. Phil.
You
It's all
reported
It
it.
never happened. I
You
never
said
said
it.
that.
Court of Appeals
You said
have
it.
it, all of it. So many people read
no,
that.
I did not say that. I didn't say that in trial. I didn't say that in trial.
Well, we trying to get us some
I didn't-
peace, man.
All I want is just an
Oh,
apology.
I understand
Just
that.
say,
And that's the whole
Ishmael,
purpose of me being on the show.
I see I'm not
is
going to
for
get
peace.
anywhere with you. You know, I served
It's not about
24
getting anywhere,
years.
but I'm not
It's
going to
okay.
sit here and say and admit to something that I did not say.
Is there anything that you said in the courtroom that you wish you didn't say?
Well, to be honest with you, I wish I wasn't involved to begin with.
I wish you
Because-
wouldn't either. I wouldn't have done
so-
24 years in prison.
If this is the last time that you ever speak to your sister, is there anything you want to say to her? If she passes before you ever speak to her again, is there anything you want to say to her?
Yes, is that I love you. I would never do anything to hurt you. I wanted to take this opportunity to be on the Dr. Phil's show to explain to you that I didn't say those things that they said I said. It all was lies.
Okay,
But just for-
Ishmael, go ahead. What about the tapes that you made? Those cassette tapes.
The
Yeah.
tapes that I made, what do you mean the tapes that I made?
Those cassette
the
tapes.
statement was recorded. The statement was recorded, and he written it down. What was recorded did not incriminate you at all. I told them how my life was with you, which was, I was a teenager back then. I didn't see anything wrong. We had a pretty normal life. And no, I don't think my sister killed her husband. That's what the tape says. That's what the tape says. And when I got to trial and they read the letter, just like I've been saying the whole show, I didn't say those things.
Okay.
And that's why I'm here today. I'm not here today to make myself out to be a nice guy or out to be,
Okay. Excuse me. I'm talking about me doing 24 years in prison. That's what the show is all about. Me doing 24 years in prison, away from my children, away from my life. This is what we on the show about.
Can you give me that letter? Because you guys are not letting me talk or prove anything. You saying you never wrote me a letter.
I'm not talking about anybody writing a letter.
We're
I'm
gonna
talking
dismiss the letter that we
about
got right now.
1997, 1998. Damn that. I'm talking about 1997, 1998. I'm talking about Patricia going to prison for something she did not do.
And that's your sister that you can't own up to.
It never
Send
ends.
yourself to you to school.
Stop.
You
Bought
okay?
you a car. Put money in your pocket every day.
Yeah, so, okay.
Have you ever thanked
All
me
of
for
my
that?
reasons I wouldn't want to do anything.
Make sure you didn't go
I
on to
didn't do those
gangs
things.
and do drugs and
So you're
taking
making
care of
me
you.
out to be the person. So I'm the person that put you in jail.
Who taking care of you?
What was it,
They
27
labeled you.
witnesses?
I'm talking. Who labeled you at my trial the smoking gun witness? Why they make you the little smoking gun witness? You were the only one they labeled that. The smoking gun.
Out of 27 witnesses.
Yeah, you were the smoking gun witness.
Let me ask you something.
No, you don't ask me nothing. You were the smoking gun witness. Now you a rabbi now.
Let me ask you a question.
You don't ask me nothing. Unless you can apologize, don't ask me nothing.
I did. And you won't let me talk.
Because it's pathetic.
This never ends.
You pathetic, bro. You are pathetic. I never met you, and I'm glad I never met you. You are pathetic. Like, I'm not disrespecting my uncle, but man, my uncle right here, he served his country. He out here pouring his heart out, and you out here just, you too involving yourself. You can't see anything else. You don't want to be wrong.
Myself, but
I hope my son.
It ain't no growth about you.
That's the whole purpose for me coming on the show to tell my side
You
of
coming
the
on the
story.
show. You coming on the show was for us to give you an opportunity, bro. You ain't bringing nothing valuable to the show. I'm sorry, Dr. Phil, to yell like this on your show, man. I respect you a whole lot, but 25 years later, you still the same pathetic liar.
I'm gonna say a mishabera for you tonight.
Prayer for you, bro. We don't care. I don't care.
Let me ask you something.
So I guess the show is just about disrespect me, right?
No, it's about being a man and owning up to something. Apologizing to your sister. If we really your family, you will do that.
Once my son Quincy was born, that's when the domestic violence started. My husband accused me of cheating on him. One Saturday afternoon, he walked into our den with my gun and started shooting. The bullet hit my elbow and the second one hit my stomach. I recovered, but my unborn daughter died later. Jerome confessed to my sister that he shot me. A police report was made, but he was never arrested. After that, I left him and never went back home.
Well, I've been talking this hour with Patricia, who was recently released from prison by Governor Newsom after serving 24 years in prison for the killing of her ex-husband. Now, it was the court's decision that she killed her ex-husband. I don't think she killed her ex-husband. I don't think she had anything to do with the death of her ex-husband. She, her son Quincey, and her grandson Suge were trying to get answers from her brother Ishmael, who she says testified against her during her trial years ago. Now, I'd like to introduce my wife Robin, founder of the organization When Georgia Smiled, which creates and advances programs to help victims of domestic violence. Now, she created the Aspire app, voted on Capitol Hill as one of the very best apps out there for domestic violence prevention. She is really an ambassador for all survivors, victims, those that are caught in this trap. And the thing is that domestic violence takes a lot of different forms. And, you know, Patricia, you are a survivor, and Robin, I've been watching you. You see such strength and steel in this woman. I've just watched you admire her through this whole thing.
Yes. First, I would love to say to Patricia, I see you as a beautiful example of the power of a woman, the strength of a woman. You have endured so much, but you sat there today and you were just a beautiful, strong example of the strength of a woman. And it has been an honor to be in your presence today.
Thank you, Ms. Robin.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You know,
Wow.
the one that should have had such indignation about all of this, and if anybody deserved to be yelling and screaming and indignant, that would be you.
Yes.
But instead, it was her brother.
Yes.
Which, you know, again, is testimony to her demeanor and her personality through all of this. You said you've spent a lot of years with hatred and resentment towards him. There's tremendous power in forgiveness.
Yes, it is.
There truly is tremendous power in forgiveness. And I've always looked at it like if you have hatred and resentment towards someone, it's like you're locked in a bond with them, a struggle with them, and until you just decide to just let it go.
Yes.
And then you're free.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how much time any of us have left in this world, you, me, anyone, but you don't want to spend the rest of your life with bitterness and hatred
And I
towards
want to
him.
be free, Dr. Phil.
You got to let it go. You've got to
Yeah.
forgive him. I mean, he'll deal. God will deal with him, but you got to let that go. As hard as that is, you got to forgive him. You have the right to peace and harmony for the rest of your life, and you have the power to claim that. And you know, Robin says you've got to put yourself number one, and that's not a selfish thing to do.
You know, I have a saying that I use a lot of times that I really, really think applies here for you. And it's I never knew how strong I was until I chose to forgive someone who wasn't sorry and accept an apology that was never given. And I think that really applies for you today. You can accept his apology. You can forgive him. It doesn't matter what he says and what he gives you. It's your right to be strong enough to choose to forgive and forget, and then be the strong woman that you are, and move forward and be happy with your life and live and give to yourself and celebrate who you are. It's nothing to do with him.
Thank you, Miss Robin. I like that.
What do you want for Patricia the rest of her life?
I remember her being in prison. We always talked because since I've gotten out of the military, all I do was travel. I got an RV and I just started seeing the United States here. And she always said, "Oh, you know, I want to come travel with you." And I said, "You know, Mommy, I want to buy a boat and, you know, and stay at a marina. I'll take you out sailing." So that's my goal. I want to be able to take her out and to see some places. You know, that's a goal that I have once I'm able to get enough money together, buy the boat that I want. And I want to take my mom sailing, and I want her to spend the rest of her life, you know, seeing the world, you know, taking her as many places as I can. I've lost out on my entire adult life, you know, without my mother. So I just want to spend the time that she has left with us being able to see something positive.
How terrific is that?
Yeah.
How terrific is that? And by the way, thank you for your service as well.
Thank you,
Okay.
Dr. Phil.
All right.
And thank you, Miss Robin. Thank
And
you so much.
and Suge, what do you want for Patricia?
So I'm ready. We already hit the road. She just got out of jail, and now she on the Dr. Phil show. It's time to keep going. It's time for my grandmother to keep
He's going to
living.
help me with my
Yeah.
book as well.
We're gonna keep going. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, unbreakable woman.
Well, I'm just very, very happy that you're surrounded by such loving, giving family members, and I pray that everything happens exactly as it should. I have total confidence in Philip that he's going to do everything he can to help you, and I'm here for you. If there's ever anything I can do for you, I admire you so much.
Thank you.
And I pray for you, and so yes, both of us are here for you, and God bless you.
Thank
God
you.
bless you.
We started a GoFundMe. We're trying to get our family home back.
Well, we will find out exactly what it's under, and we'll make sure that's part of this.
Okay.
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 And how much are you trying to?
It's just enough to get my house back.
And how much is that?
My daughter, Misty, she's out there. She can tell you more about it. I don't know about all these internet, these telephone things.
You don't know about all this
Yeah, it's a
technology
GoFundMe.
stuff?
We do it one thing at a time.
All right. Well, we'll find out. We'll
Thank
make
you,
all of
Dr.
that. We'll
Phil.
get all the specifics. We'll make it part of the show, so make it easy for people to find.
Okay.
Because my viewers tend to respond to these
Oh,
things.
thank you, Dr.
Okay.
Phil, so much.
All right, we'll be all over that. All right, I want to thank all of my guests today. For more information about today's show, log on to drphil.com. Don't forget to check me out on my social media outlets. You can find me wherever, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, wherever. Also, check out Robin's podcast. I've got a secret where she shares great tips, tricks, secrets with her audience. You don't want to miss it. They have some great conversations.